Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to She Power here on WTV Kenya. With me on set, I have Munira Twahir, Director of Inetco Limited. I got it right?
Yes.
Karibu sana to the show.
Thank you.
Off the top of my head, I think the first question when we hear more about Inetco is, why a pad dispenser?
Well, why not? The backstory of it is I had a friend who needed a pad and we didn't have one at the moment, and it just clicked, why don't we have these things in the toilets? So that was basically the premise of the idea. Yes.
The whole stigma that's associated with periods and menstruation. I mean, why turn it into a business, an entrepreneurial sort of journey?
Well, it's because, as you've said, there's a lot of stigma and there's a lot of embarrassment when it comes to certain situations when you're caught off guard. So I thought, why not provide that service to young girls and women in general who are in that phase of life? And it wasn't really a preconceived idea of making money. I just wanted to provide the service. Yes.
Amazing. I think it's a very, very wonderful venture to get into. And another question that I know even the viewers at home would love to hear is the feedback you got. I mean, being a young entrepreneur and going out to head out into a controversial area, providing sanitary towels for ladies. What's the feedback you got from some of the people you sought counsel from over the concept and the idea?
At the beginning, I was on my own, but I approached some friends, and unfortunately, they turned the idea down. But I was lucky enough to get some people who encouraged me. So at that point, I guess if they didn't encourage me, I'd not have started it. As the feedback for women, they are generally excited about it. It is an idea that should be there but isn't there. So the basic replies or feedback is that they're grateful for it, that they don't have to struggle to get a pad when they need a pad. Yes.
How long have you been in operation as a company?
About a year, but we've been registered for longer than that. Yeah.
Why was there such a long gap? Does it have to do with the registration process, or the fact that it's a bit difficult for young people to get started off with their businesses?
It was everything. The biggest milestone at the beginning was to get capital for it. So I had the business plan, and then I approached investors and they needed a proof of concept. And it was a catch-22 because I didn't have money to do a proof of concept. And then after that, the registration took longer than it should because the systems were down or something like that. So that pushed it further. And it was a whole journey of understanding the business and understanding specifically myself and what I can do, and that growth internally to be where I am now.
Amazing. And again, being a young lady and taking up a business, an enterprise on your own, how has the journey been thus far? Has it been any less difficult? And maybe what are some of the tools that you employed along the way to progress?
It has been difficult, and I think people generally don't give the darker side of business. I would say it has taken a lot of self-growth for me to reach where I am. The biggest barrier, I keep saying, is myself. So when you reach hindrance, it is not really the hindrance that's the problem, it's now how you change your perspective. So a way to mitigate that, I would visualize the problem as a wall. So I would tell myself, this wall, I'd need to either climb it or break it brick by brick, or go around it or dig under it. But either way, I will still go through the wall. So that was the illustration I used.
Amazing. Self-drive and moving through by sheer will.
Yes.
And let's talk a bit about your machine, or pad ATMs, like I like to call them. And first and foremost, how did you settle on, the machines? Is this an idea or a concept that's available elsewhere? And where can we, locate these machines?
I have 3 machines at Eco Toilet, the one at Aga Khan Walk, the one at Archives, and then the Tomboy roundabout. We are expanding, hopefully mid-year. The concept is not new in the world. The UK and the US, it's everywhere, but they use tampon dispensers. But in Kenya, pads is usually the predominant alternative to menstruation. Yeah.
All right. How much is one sanitary towel?
10 shillings.
Amazing.
Yes.
And do you use different brands, or have you, designed one specific sanitary towel to use for the machines?
The moment, no. That's for future. In the future, we'd like to give our women more options. What I've learned in this business, even though women don't have access to sanitary pads, they're very savvy about it. They know what they want and what they don't want. So I'd like to give the women that option in the future. Currently, not yet. Yeah.
So which ones are you using for the machines thus far?
It's not branded. It's just I get them in singles.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, and then you're able to distribute.
Yes.
Amazing. And the whole, let's say, the whole business plan. What are your other areas of expansion? What areas are you planning on targeting in terms of expansion?
Schools, high schools in general, academic institutions. The beauty about the business is wherever a woman is a good opportunity. So any leisure institutions, any academic, any corporate institutions, it's a good place to have the machine. Yeah.
All right. So it kind of levels on both lower market and upper market kind of targets.
Yes.
Amazing. Munira, thank you very much. We're going to be taking a short break from this segment. When we come back, we get to learn more about Munira's passion for women's reproductive health. This is She Power. Keep it WTV Kenya. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is She Power. Today we are highlighting young women in business. With me on set is Munira Twahir, Director of Inetco Limited. Welcome.
Thank
you. Now, you shared with me that you're very passionate about women's reproductive health. And why? Should be the first question.
Why? Because I believe it's not talked about enough. I feel that there's a lot of conversation about menstruation and the impacts of it, but I don't feel that there is enough conversation around everything else to do with that. Yeah.
Have you had any personal experience? I mean, that I know I have, that would lead you to come to this summation?
Well, when I had my periods, I was told there was a bit of basic menstruation education, but in the sexual reproductive health part, I was told not to touch boys. And that led to very many questions. Like, what does it mean not to touch boys? So for a majority of it, I had to do my own research and figure out what does not touching boys mean. Yes. That's
very true. I mean, menstruation is a bit of a touchy subject. I mean, across all households is sort of a taboo. Why do you think that, given that we're in the 21st century and the level of awareness and education that's there, that we still have people who, or families that don't really address this matter in the way it so deserves?
I think it's the way we are taught. It's secrecy. So, for example, when you're being given your first pad, for example, you're told this is secret, you have a secret pouch to put it in your bag, no one should know about it. So I think it's just the way we're being oriented into womanhood that's a big problem, and we carry that throughout. So no one should know you're on your periods. It's a bad thing for people to know that you're on your periods, or that there are certain things a woman's body goes through Yes.
Amazing. In terms of awareness and education about women's reproductive health, is that something your company would consider, venturing into as a social enterprise?
Yes, I'd actually like to partner with people doing it. I don't think I should do it on my own. I'd like to partner with people who are also passionate about it and use that my company as a venue to start talking about it. Because I believe that once people are comfortable enough about talking about a pad, then we can start a more free conversation.
Oh yeah, a more open conversation with due regard to that area. And I don't think people understand the magnitude of, a little girl having her period. I mean, we have girls missing plenty of days in a whole year, running into months because of the menstruation cycle, not understanding it. And maybe I'd ask you is, do you think that in terms of teaching reproductive health within our schools, both primary and secondary, that we're actually hitting the nail right on the head?
Yes and no. I think that's a good place to start, but making it formal, I believe, would scare some questions the girls would have. So I believe if it's informal, if it's like a sister to sister type of conversation, then they'd ask a lot more questions and a lot of their doubts would be answered. But yes, to start it off, I believe schools should have that program. Yes.
When you say sister to sister, what exactly do you mean?
For example, one of the ideas I had was to have the school I went to as an alumni to talk to girls. And since the age gap isn't that big, they will be more comfortable talking to me about things they'll not be comfortable talking to an older woman about. So that's the whole sister to sister type of conversation. So you're not being told, you're having a conversation about sexual reproductive health. Yes.
That's really amazing, and I hope you guys get to pick up that. And going back to starting up Inetco as a company, given that young people, I mean, with limited resources and brilliant ideas, what was the value of the advice that you got? Did you get any legal advice, financial advice that helped you, build it up?
At the beginning, I didn't want to tell people about it because of the fear of somebody might steal it or somebody will just not understand. So I didn't get as much as I should have at the beginning, but there is a lot of value with consultation and networking and just asking somebody, hey, I know you're in journalism, could you give me your perspective on this? It has brought up perspectives that I would not have thought on my own. Yes.
Amazing. What about the value of having any legal advice? Did somebody, at any one point, for lack of a better description, cheat you into something? And what happened when you got to a point that required legal documentation or the like?
I'd say I do some of my legal work, or rather I draft my legal documents and then consult a lawyer. So in that sense, I know what is in my contract and it's just not jargon, law jargon in there. So I usually would draft it in English, in plain English, and then take it to a lawyer. It's not, they wouldn't charge me, but yeah.
So you're now an Akili Dada Fellow.
Yes.
That's really amazing. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, Akili Dada has different programs, but the program I'm in is the fellow program, and it's a year-long program where they take women in business and social change initiatives and they train them through business ideas, or like they take you through the incubation process of your business or your social change initiative. Yeah.
Of what value, has this sort of guidance and mentorship through this fellowship program given to your business?
A lot. I feel before Akili Dada, I was groping in the dark. Like I knew what I wanted, but there's not any direction towards achieving it. So Akili Dada, with the training, they give direction. They have monthly reports. So it gives you the opportunity to look back and to see if you're doing what you're meant to do, if you're off track. So that guidance has been a great value. And the facilitators that we have in the trainings open up ideas and open up views of things that I had not thought about before.
Amazing, amazing. Now, given that you're now taking this path with, let's say, a clearer vision, what maybe you can explain to us the difference? We have the whole angle of a business enterprise and a social enterprise. Where does Inetco fall, and why?
Well, at the beginning it was for profit. I started Inetco simply to make money. And as I went through the journey, it just didn't feel right to call it a purely for-profit business. So my business would be termed as a social business, that it is a business in its right sense, that we're making money, but it is for social impact.
All right,
yes.
Promoting social
yes.
change. Amazing. And now, how do you plan to impact Kenyan society in the next 5 to 10 years as a whole?
Well, I'd want to change the culture that surrounds menstruation. I would want a woman to walk out of her house and she does not feel like she needs to carry a pad, because in 5 meters, in 10 meters, there's a dispenser that they can access a pad when they need to access it, depending on the amount and when it is convenient for them. Yes.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you very much, Munira.
Thank
and now
you.
we're going to our favorite segment of the show, which is the She Fun Facts. All right, so we start it off with a tongue twister, and you get to say it thrice.
Oh my goodness.
So here you go.
The sixth sheep sick. Again, the sixth sheep's sick. Wow. The sixth sheep's sick.
All
I think I got it.
Yes, you did.
Yay.
Wonderful. And maybe you can share with us, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Earliest? Eating sand.
Wow. It's an interesting one. Describe your outlook in life in 6 words.
Outlook in life. Oh, that's a hard one. Outlook in life. Non-judgmental. Inner happiness. 6 words.
You're number 3.
Oh my god. It's Zen. Impulsive. We're number 4, 5.
Oh, now we're going to 5.
Connection. Human connection. And the last one would be, I said inner happiness? Would be, I don't know how to say it in one word, but not doubting yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
Confidence, courage.
Yes, those ones.
And lastly, if you were offered $100 million today to give up Inetco, would you or would you not? In all honesty.
That's a lot of money. I probably would. But there'd be some terms and conditions applied, yes.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much, Munira,
Thank
for
you.
joining us on She Power. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been highlighting young women in business. I've had with me on set Munira Twahir, Director of Inetco Limited. I hope you have picked up a pointer or two in terms of getting your business up and started. I've been your host, Linda Kroeger. This has been She Power. Keep it WTV Kenya.